We need 75 grams of our vanilla-based casein protein powder. Yes, casein protein powder. Don't use whey. It will not work. They will be dry. It will be disgusting. You'll be unhappy. Don't ask in the comment section. Just use casein. If you don't have casein, make a different recipe. Vanilla-based casein protein powder. Please, casein protein powder, not whey. No blend of our vanilla-based casein protein powder. Don't use whey. It will not work. Casein only. No blends. Casein only. Casein only. Casein only.
First, it's coming from protein powder, so I use a combination of whey and casein. I use exactly 12 grams of whey and 3 grams of casein. If you don't have casein and you have a whey casein blend, then use that. That's completely fine. If you don't have casein and you just have a whey, that is also completely fine. Just use 15 grams of whey because we need 15 grams of total protein powder. But if you just have casein, do not make this because it will be a disaster. So do not use just casein. It's just going to be like a moist, sloppy goop that's wet and just not ready, not like an apple fritter. Either use all whey, 15 grams, or 12 grams of whey, 3 grams of casein, or a whey casein blend. But do not use just casein. If you use just casein and you try this and you don't like it, it's not my fault.
It's not by any means where it's going to taste bad, but you can tell that you didn't use casein protein powder. If you put this next to Will's Apple Fritters and you did a side-by-side taste comparison. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today and we're doing another recipe review. We're going to be taking a look at Rahul Kamat's protein apple fritter. This one caught my eye. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to check it out because, let's face it, it's a fritter. Fritters are delicious. We've already done a fritter review on this channel by Tennyson a few months back. That one was fantastic. This one, I have my reservations about because he strongly suggests, as you heard, not to use 100% casein. There's some guy on YouTube that's always stressing baking with casein only. So that guy, me, is very curious how this one's gonna turn out. We're gonna find out if it's gonna be ideal for any weight loss plan, any shredding plan, and any main gaining plan. So with no further ado, let's get things started by having a look at the ingredients. Here we go. All-purpose flour, a whey casein blend that goes with apples, baking powder, ground cinnamon, ground nutmeg, the one ingredient to rule them all, salt, 1 apple, plain and non-fat Greek yogurt, sugar-free syrup, swerve, granular, unsweetened almond milk, swerve, confectioners, vanilla extract. We just wanted to break in real quick here to remind you to smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. We got a lot of great recipes coming out in the near future. Going to be doing some reviews, perhaps a vlog or two, we'll see, but it's going to be fitness related, and if that's your kind of thing, definitely subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you don't miss any of this great content that's going to be coming out. And I have a question for you. Let's settle the debate in the comment section now. What's better, donuts or fritters? Let me know. All right, back to the video. And this is another one of those recipes where we're mixing together some dry ingredients, we're mixing together some wet ingredients, and we're combining the two for what could be some anabolic deliciousness. So let's get things started here by mixing together our dry ingredients first. If you're looking for the exact ratios, I will link to Rahul's recipe video in the description box down below. I'm gonna speed through this, get this made, get this cooked, get it over to the taste test table so I can let you know if it's worth making. We're gonna get things started here by adding in our all-purpose flour, which I can assure you has been pre-measured and is on the money, of course. And next, as much as it pains me, I'm going to be putting in a whey casein blend for this baking recipe, but I'm going in with an open mind here, putting it in, here we go. Next is our swerve granular. Then our baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. Then ground cinnamon, ground nutmeg, pinch of salt. So ends our dry ingredients. We're gonna give these a quick mix, but on this channel we sift, so we're gonna do some sifting. Maximum disbursement achieved. Moving on to the wet ingredients. First one is going to be Greek yogurt, negative scale measuring system. Then sugar-free syrup, vanilla extract, and then we mix. And using my whey casein blend, I got this consistency here. I believe Rahul's was a little bit soupier when he used his, so there's probably more of a whey to casein ratio in my blend than there was in the mixture that he had. but nonetheless, I think this is still gonna work, so we're gonna give it a go here. Next step is to fold in our apples. And he recommends peeling the apples for this recipe. I think he said he just doesn't like them. I recommend you leave the skin on because it's gonna be a lot of fiber content there, a lot of nutrients in there. And I've also found with apple recipes, once you bake them or air fry them, you don't even taste the skins anyway, but comes down to personal preference. Not a huge deal, but just not the way I would do it. But this is a recipe review, so we're keeping it true to form. Here we go, mixing in our X number of grams of apples that I can't mention because you're supposed to go to his video to check it out. I got one stuck too. All right, and then we fold in. And it definitely seems I have a lot more apples to dough ratio than Rahul did in his video. So I'm guessing again it comes down to that protein powder. We're still gonna go with this though. We're gonna bake it up and see how it tastes. I remember Will Tennyson's recipe looking much like this. So if it was good enough for Will's recipe, we'll see how it goes in Rahul's here. Then at least we'll know if we should do that whey casein blend ourselves or if this is something that could work as well. But we'll forge ahead with the blend and see how we do. And we're going to be air frying this recipe today. So I have my air fryer here lined with some parchment paper. In his video, he sprayed it down with some nonstick. I'm not sure why, because parchment paper is supposed to be nonstick. That's kind of one of the points of using it. But we want to keep this recipe true to form, so we're going to spray it down with some nonstick, just like he did. And much like Will's recipe, this doesn't have to be pretty. Fritters don't have a perfect form, so nor should this one. We're just going to plop this into the center of our parchment paper in the air fryer, and we're going to get cooking. And there is the fritter that I formed or plopped into the air fryer. So it's not quite as big as Rahul's, but you know what? We're gonna go with it anyway. Again, we're gonna bake it up and see how good it tastes. I can tell you, it already smells amazing uncooked, so I can't wait to see what it smells like after we cook it up. Let's pop this in the air fryer so we can take it over to the taste test table. So it seems like after 12 minutes in the air fryer, it came out a little burnt, but so did Rahul's in his recipe video as well. He said not to worry how it looks like, just let it cool, put the glaze on and try it. So that's what we're gonna do here. The glaze is super simple, it's only 2 ingredients. We're gonna get started here with the first ingredient, which is our powdered sugar. Of course, it's not real sugar, it's a 0-calorie sugar. 0-calorie powdered sugar. Here we go, putting it in. And then of course, to turn it into a glaze, we're gonna use some almond milk. Very little, of course, it's another one of those situations where you wanna use less than you think that you need because you can always put more in, but you can't take any out. And ratios are right on point here. This is gonna be the perfect glaze to go on top of the fritter. We're gonna let it cool completely, put this glaze on there, and then you know where we're going next. And we're back at the taste test table yet again to do another anabolic recipe review here with our protein apple fritter. Is it as good as Will Tennyson's version? We're gonna find out right now. Going right into our taste test with no further ado. First bite, best bite, who knows? We'll have to see. Let's pick it up and try it out. This thing is massive. Okay, yeah, tasty. Tastes like an apple fritter, that's for sure. Take another bite. You know, I have my reservations. I thought it might taste a little burnt, but it doesn't. If you look in the center there, you can see it's perfectly cooked. And this is a pretty big fritter. I've already taken 2 bites out of it, and it's pretty much the size of half my head. And I got a big head. Let's see, let's take another bite of the outside here. And to be as scientific as possible, we're gonna go right in the center, because Rahul said that was his favorite part. It fell apart. Rahul said that was his favorite part, so now that I have a middle part that fell out because I ate too much around the edges, here we go. Ooh, this center is delicious. Super delicious. It did fall apart though, it's fun. With these recipes though, if you put the apples too close together, it's not gonna hold together terribly well. I probably could have dispersed them a little bit more, folded them in a little bit better, but having it in pieces, it still tastes delicious. The edge has a little crunch to it. It's not a bad thing. It's not burnt by any means. It tastes really good, just like an actual apple fritter. Some of the outside's a little crispy, more towards the middle. Nice and moist. And this is no different. It is different than Will's, that's for sure. I don't find the flavoring as strong by any means as Will's was. I think for something like this, a whey casein blend, if you just use whey, it would probably be way drier than this. It's a little bit dry. It's not by any means where it's gonna taste bad, but you can tell that you didn't use casein protein powder. The ones that I made, I did use casein protein powder with, and I thought they came out great. Rahul says that it's gonna come out too kind of soggy and wet, and that can happen, but you just have to increase the bake time or add more flour to help balance it out. I think with the ratios that he has for this recipe, this is really good. I'd be curious to see what it tastes like with just 100% whey, but I kind of already know. So I've baked enough with whey over the years to know that it's not something you want to bake with. This is a solid recipe. I would definitely give this a try. Let me try a few more bites here. I'll give it a final rating. Not bad at all. The protein to calorie ratio is really good on this too. One thing I do prefer about Will's recipe is that you do get 2 apple fritters with that one. The calories aren't all that different. If you doubled up this recipe, it would be close. I think the calories would be a little bit more on this one, but you know, to each their own. It depends on the type of texture that you want. The texture is of course different because we're using a blend. I don't think it's as much flour either as Will's recipe. At the end of the day, these things all come down to the ratios that you're using. It's definitely a solid recipe. I would give it an 8.3 out of 10 for sure. This is solid. I definitely recommend that you make this. You're not gonna be disappointed at all. The glaze works perfect, really ties the whole apple fritter together. So don't be discouraged if it comes out and it looks a little burnt. It's not, trust me, it's gonna taste just fine. You're not gonna be unhappy with it. If you put this next to Will's apple fritters and you did a side-by-side taste comparison, you would notice that they were different, but you would not have any preference on which one that you're having. They're both absolutely delicious. It's a good substantial amount of food. You've had this for a snack. I think it would easily get you to the next meal. Obviously, you're getting a nice amount of protein in this as well. You should definitely go check out Rahul's video. He has the macros listed there. So definitely go look at his channel. I've just started going through his stuff. He's got a lot of great recipes on there. Everything looks fantastic. Looking forward to digging even further into what he's got to offer. But it's getting to be about that time. I gotta get up out of here, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.